Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm gonna carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're gonna talk about how to use your motherfucking magic wand. Because everybody got a magic wand. Now you're probably thinking like, what the fuck going on right now? We got a magic wand? Yes, you got a magic wand. And this is your motherfucking magic wand, right? And this is your ability to point, your ability to direct. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of times y'all not understanding the kind of power that y'all have. So for the most part, think about it like this, right? As long as you have an intent behind what you're pointing to, whatever you're pointing to, where attention goes, the energy going to flow in that same direction. So for the most part, sit back and think about how much shit that you have pointed to, that shit that occurred that's outside of you. Just think about all the times you pointed to something. Oh shit, look at that. What just happened? Oh shit. Every time you point to something to have somebody else focus on something, is always something outside of you. But when was the last time you have pointed to something that you have got them created? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. Very rare, ain't it? Very rare. Almost to the point that you have to be some kind of artist that draw and have to be like, hey, come here, look at my drawing or something like that. Otherwise, if it's not something that's slightly relatable to that, then it might not be no part of the time of your existence that you pointing to something that you motherfucker created. You see what I'm saying? So that's what you need to motherfucker understand. You need to tap into that energy first. Because for the most part, look, we all have this magic wand energy. But if we're not using it for ourselves, a lot of times, what's the whole purpose? So this is what this video is about. You know what I'm saying? Using your magic wand for things that your purpose. Now, for the most part, this is where things get a little trickery a little bit. So this is for all my tricksters out there. This is for all my manipulators out there. This is for all my people who are real magicians. Real wizards, you know what I'm saying? Not people who just think they know what they talking about and want to tell other people what the shit is, and then down it like it's Dalmatian, like you just as religious as anybody else. It ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? This is for people who are spiritually inclined. Now, for the most part, get the fuck off this video if you don't know how to deal with this kind of shit. Now, we're gonna talk about how to utilize magic, the ability to make your magic wonder. Now, for the most part, it starts off with intent, but it takes a creative person. It takes a person with an imagination or an illusion to a certain degree. But if you have the ability to direct that energy, then you could become a wizard. You could become a person who know how to make your magic wander. Now, for the most part, this is what I mean by that. Now, you got to have a certain intent, a certain imagination in your mind. Now, for the most part, instead of pointing at things that's outside of you, you know, create what's in your mind. So there's many different ways that you could do this, but one of the most easiest ways is using your magic wand. Now, here's what I mean by this. Here, you have to go out and get free energy. Now, getting free energy is like this. Making people around you do things that may not necessarily make sense to nobody else but you. You know, like a lot of people do this subconsciously. A lot of people just got natural natal alignments and they do things around people that doesn't make sense to nobody but them. And based upon what lost world they in, that be the reason. So that be the shit they're manifesting. But like I said, this video is for true wizards. This video is for true esoteric people. And like I said, if you actually know what's going on, then what you're actually pointing to it and actually giving focus to, a lot of times the intent behind it need to be your thought process. So let's use money for an example, right? Now, say you got money on your mind, and say you want to see some money. You want to see a specific amount of money in your life, right? So that's your imagination. That's your thought. So let that be your intent, because it's already an energy. Since you're resonating with that energy signature, it's already a formulating of energy. You know you got it because you caught it from somewhere, or you wouldn't be in the state to be like, man, I want to make this X amount of money, right? So since that's on your mind, it's already energy. Now you need to focus that energy, right? So here's the thing. This is how you get free energy. Now, using your magic wand. Now, you can just go around and like, just do this to random people. You know what I'm saying? And people going to look. And what they look at, whatever they're going to look at, nothing's going to be there. It's going to be whatever you pointed at going to be there. But what you need to understand in your mind, whatever they look at need to be what's on your mind, your intent. So if that was your intent, on your mind, I want to see this amount of money, and then when you walking up to random people, you just do this and have somebody look. In your mind, it need to be that they looking at what you wanna get. Therefore, it's like free energy. Now, they don't know what they just gave their energy to, but you know based upon the intent. So, like I said, this is one of the most easiest ways. You got a bunch of people who troll, bunch of people who just do record. Like take Boot Gang for an example. He is a person who did a lot of shit. Even Fat Boy SSE. They did a lot of shit that didn't necessarily make sense to anybody else but them. But based upon them, within them, they knew what they was doing it for. So subconsciously, based upon their own NATO alignment, whether one wanted to be a comedian or whether one was just acting reckless and being on drugs, they still manifested the same energy signature that I'm letting you know that you got access to. And if you know this what you doing, this what makes you have power. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, it's the power of intent. So like I said, this is one of the most easiest ways. You can do this with family members, friends, or whatever like that. And just do that or whatever like that. A person going to look to see what you pointing at. And what they going to look at in your mind is going to be exactly what you creating. That percentage of money that you want. Now, if you're doing this to a gang of people within one day, you know how much energy you're going to have? You know how much energy, you know how much attention or gravitational pull that you done gave to that cloud that you just created. Now, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise, this is what you need to understand. You got to be doing something. Now, you got to be doing something that this energy could be filtered through to come to you in the 3rd dimension. Like if you're just a bum ass person, if you're just a bum ass nigga or a bum ass bitch, it's not gonna, and you're not doing nothing, and you stay on the curve somewhere like that, it's not gonna come out of thin air because it's still in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional realm. So it can't rain down like that. It has to rain down through a filter, and the filter is through the system of the 3rd dimension. Whether you're working on something, or whether you got a job, or whether you're hustling, or whether you got a business, but what these are attributes that it can be filtered through. So you got to be doing something. You see what I'm saying? Like people understand that. You wouldn't even be into this kind of shit if you ain't a person that's trying to do something in the world. So 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure if you watching this video, by you even having a phone or having internet and having Wi-Fi access, you ain't no bum ass. You actually in your life trying to do something. So these attributes have a place to get filtered through to show you. But for the most part, think about how much attention that you put to that motherfucking idea. Right? It could be anything. It could be a car. It could be a car. It could be anything. Just come up in your mind like damn, I want to. But look, the bigger something is, because you know in this realm it takes time. So the bigger something is, the bigger the shape and form that you're trying to get, you know it's going to take more energy for it to take shape and form. So that means the experience is going to be greater. You're going to have to go through more obstacles, routes and routes and things of that nature to match that energy in order to manifest. So be careful with your dreams too. Like if you're a person who's in this position in your life, if you aiming for something that outweighs your small percentage in your life, then that shape and form is greater than your shape and form. It's going to take you greater leaps and greater adding, and aka greater experiences in order to obtain that. So make sure you know how to manage your goals and what you're trying to participate in. Take it step by step. If you're in this space, you know to get to this space, you might have to take steps there. You might have to take this step, then that step. You can't just go here and think here. You get what I'm saying? So based upon the journey, it's going to be fun anyway. This is for all my esoteric people. I ain't even getting 3D for y'all today. I ain't trying to do that right now. But yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's about using your magic wand. So you focus your energy and you direct it. So for the most part, 9 times out of 10, every time you're around somebody, they either talking about something and they directing your energy towards something that's already created. So something else be getting all that energy. You know what I'm saying? You might be around somebody, they start talking about their favorite show, right? So they directing their power, and even esoterically, having a point of a conversation, the point of a conversation is them pointing and directing your energy to that same energy signature. So even if a person talking about their favorite show or something around you, you need to know that you allow this person to use their power, to use your power, to both give the energy to the same source. And then whoever created that source, they the intellectual energy properties of that. So motherfucker, they reaping all the benefits of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that shit goes deep into a lot of different shit. So you got to understand that when you're in a circumstance or a situation, you need to know how to direct energy for what you want to direct it towards. And this is one of the most easiest ways to do it. So you can have whatever on your mind and be like this. A person will look that way, they be like, oh, what you made me point that way for? I'd be like, oh, I don't know, I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? But in your mind, you know what the fuck is going on. You made them look at what you want them to look at. And if what was on your mind was whatever that you wanted or whatever you're trying to obtain or whatever situation you want to get over, then that's where the energy got directed. Now, it's in a light form. It's in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. It has no choice but to start accumulating. And the more attention you give to that, and the more you start to do tricks, like use your magic wand and have other people direct to that, the faster it can come into the realm of reality. So the more energy you put into it, aka the more experiences, the more you use your magic wand and just do that to random friends and family and friends and things of that nature. And you ain't even gotta use your magic wand. You can say certain words. Certain people do this subconsciously. People who just got straight up word vomit and shit like that. But these people be without them knowing, they be giving energy to a lot of different shit. So if a person not doing this for themselves and they naturally a person who like to word vomit all the time, that's a bad thing. You should watch Archangel Uriel, because right now you'll be able to know how to direct that energy and make it useful for something that you're trying to gain in your life. You see what I'm saying? So you can go up to a conversation, and air signs know this. See, now this is something air signs know. Y'all always be kind of like indirect in a direct way. So a lot of times y'all don't know this is what y'all maybe be doing, but a lot of times this is what y'all be doing. Like you might come around or something like that, and you may say something that, and Aquariuses know this also. You may say something that may not necessarily have anything to do with the circumstance or the conversation, but in your mind you came up with saying that phrase to get somebody to understand it in another way. You just did what I'm talking about, right? So, but think about half of the conversations y'all be having, especially y'all Aquariuses. It'd be about sports and shit like that. So a lot of times y'all just be utilizing that natural power towards shit that already got power. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta keep that in mind. When the last time did you make somebody focus their energy on something you created? And think about what's your first creation, what's your first children, your thoughts, your imagination. So if you are already spiritually vibrating high, you are already a person who come up with a lot of good ideas, catch a lot of good imaginations, and come up in your own solar system of your thought of that to emit it out in the universe. So you are already a person that's resonating high and things of that nature. So you got high goals and high intents. So, you know what I'm saying, start focusing and working with it. That's how you work with energy. Energy come in many different shapes and forms. Many different shapes and forms. So what's in front of you may not even necessarily be how the energy could get filtered through. So try not to attach yourself to too many shapes and forms in front of you, because you'll be having these things being backed and supported by you thinking this is the only way something could come to you. So when something is not coming to you in those ways, you start to get depressed, you start to get frustrated, and you start to feel like there's a loss of ways. You start to lose your direction. You start to feel like there's no other way of doing things. Then you bring yourself into a dimension of time where if you just would have understood that things could come in many different ways, and it may come in a way that you may be unaware of, but since you might be too blinded by that previous way of looking at things, you may be unaware of what might be right in front of your face at the moment. And then you might push that away, and that might have been something that your ass motherfucking needed to get from point A to point fucking B. But your ass wouldn't understand that if your ass lost in any kind of situation or circumstance. So that's what you need to understand also. So you need to start directing it, start having intent behind your actions, because a lot of y'all actions is be backed and supported by other people's intent. And since they be the owners of that intellectual property, they reap the benefits of all y'all motherfucking energy. So it's time for you to start creating your own small version of your energy also, so you can start manifesting the same shit in your life that these motherfuckers is manifesting in their life. It's the same shit. So we in the goddamn galaxy, which is a goddamn movie, and you the goddamn star. But y'all keep letting the director create the movie, keep writing the scripts. So y'all just be stars following roles, following scripts. Then when y'all float back into y'all space and location, you don't feel good about yourself. You don't shine as bright. Then you got a lot of skeletons in your closet because your shining ain't that bright. You only shine when you in the space and the location of the director. And then once they directing all y'all energy and they giving y'all all the directions, they direct y'all into lost spaces and location. To the point that once they lose sight of the direction, they lead all y'all off on a cliff, then y'all all become holy stars. Now we need a bunch of holy words and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Then everybody look at y'all as dead stars as examples of what to do and what not to do. You know what I'm saying? So now we got movies, now we got books, now we got religions and things of that nature. But what y'all need to understand is this. You need to start creating your own, you need to start being your own director. See, how many directors you know playing their own motherfucking movies? You see what I'm saying? You got a few. You got like people like Quentin Tarantino, you know what I'm saying? Stan Lee, he kind of old, but he be in all the Marvel. He still make cameos in all his movies. You know what I'm saying? It's a slight few. I can sit here and run down a little list, but it ain't normal, right? But all the directors that be in their own movies is something that be precious to them. These are the directors that you can tell they art is real precious to them. They art is real close to them. They real involved with their art. They not just using director for the form of money and being used by other sources and other entities deities and other deities to the point that they just acting out roles and being soldiers for other directors and other hierarchies. No, these be the directors that pride their own creativity, so they want to be seen in their creativity, aka indulge into their creations. It's like we all be doing some spiritual shit that y'all don't really be understanding, that the shit be going deep, but that's what you need to know. Like, start directing your own movie, and start playing your own movie. You know what I'm saying? Come up with the script. And you be the main character, you be the main star and moon in that script also. Therefore, you have a testimony. Therefore, once you have a testimony, this testimony can be utilized as an example for the world that we are in. Because that your testimony and your experiences is almost like an energy signature in itself that expands the universe and give information back to the overall God. And if you're not a person who don't have a testimony and you don't have an experience and you just out here going along other people's testimonies and other people's experience, you don't have no cloud yourself to expand the universe. Therefore, your space will be secluded and be added on to someone else's space who's actually putting in that energy work. And then they'll be the ones who's manifesting what they need in their life and how to sustain themselves and how to expand and how to descend and ascend and how to become a master incarnator and how to do a lot of things and utilize magic and come back with a lot of information to the point that it don't matter what realm of reality they get born into as another star, they still have all the wisdom that they have through all the experiences, and they're not lacking wisdom. Therefore, when they get birthed into a realm of reality, they don't be naive, they don't be careless, they don't be indecisive, they don't be unsure, they don't be lost. You know what I'm saying? They actually have some understanding of their space and location, their positioning within this realm of reality that they are in, because they understand and they remember and they understand how to tap into the conscious records to know where you're going. You have to know where you came from. So if you don't know where you came from, you don't even know where you're going. So you might be going where someone else came from, and wherever they came from, a lot of those beings might not fuck with you like that. So it'll play out in a third dimension like shit don't work for you. You be looking at everybody else and shit always working for them, and you try to do the same shit, but it don't work for you because you following somebody else's trail and space and location that may not even your family or spiritual family and things of that nature ain't even there. They don't even live there, so you ain't even got no support. You're almost like a tourist without nobody there from that city with you to teach you how to talk that language, to teach you got people there that resonate with you. You just there on your own, and you lost your passport. So now what? You just end up lost and living there for a long time. AKA that's like coming back in a routine, coming back in another body, in the third dimension, and keep repeating the same situation, circumstance until you fucking find yourself and create your own map and quit trying to look for maps. Sad? Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air. Use your magic wands out here.